Kia ora koutou e hoa ma. Welcome to this video about the full moon in Scorpio coming up on the 16th of May 2022. My name is Fiona Ingram of Sun and Moon Calendar.nz. So this full moon brings us the second eclipse of the year, and this is a full moon total lunar eclipse, a blood moon. The full moon is exact at 4:15 in the afternoon, and that's when the eclipse happens. So we won't actually see the eclipse. That will be centered South America and then spreading out from there. We might see a little bit of shadow on the moon when the moon rises later, an hour later. I'd be interested to see if anyone notices that, then write something in the comments. And this is what it looks like on the zodiac wheel. So sun and moon opposite together like any full moon, and with this full moon the earth is going to come between and send its shadow onto the moon. Energetically, as we look at in astrology, this means like a full moon with extra power. And I've swapped around the zodiac wheel here. I've reversed it and rotated it. This is how it will appear to us in the Southern Hemisphere in Aotearoa at the time of the full moon eclipse. So the full moon just below the horizon in Scorpio, and Libra just above the horizon on the east, and so on. So let's look at Scorpio. Scorpio has two ruling planets. In ancient times, Mars was assigned to Scorpio, and in modern times, since the 1930s when Pluto was discovered, Pluto was assigned, and it is known as the modern ruler. So ruled by Mars, here are the characteristics of Mars that go with Scorpio: determination, motivation, drive, passion, desire, and strategic thinking, focus. And ruled by Pluto. Pluto is very small and very far away and not even regarded as a planet in astronomy now. Nevertheless, in astrology, it is seen as the power player, very powerful. And this brings to Scorpio the themes of power. And with themes of power, you also get wealth, big wealth. Sexuality comes in as themes. Scorpio is intense and deep, and can be to do with deep psychology and also what is hidden depths. And the element of Scorpio, do you want to have a guess before I click? Water. So Scorpio is about water, really emotional. Okay, so hidden depths and intuition and sensitivity. Just like all the water signs, there's a lot of sensitivity. Just you might not always see it on the surface with Scorpio. And the modality, you can probably guess from the picture of the water, is fixed. So with Scorpio as a fixed side, that means that the water of Scorpio is still waters, mysterious, suggesting that there are hidden depths. Still waters run deep. So at the full moon, take some time to step back and review what has been achieved, what have you received. And this could be going back the last 2 weeks or the last 6 months since the Scorpio new moon in November. And of course, this is a full moon eclipse, so there is extra intensity. Not only that, it is a super moon, the moon is close to the earth. Not only that, it is Scorpio, and Scorpio is intense. So this is an intense time. When it is full moon, the sun and moon are on the opposite side of the sky, and we have this challenge of how can we bring together those opposites. Taurus is all about the tangible, what we can actually touch and see and feel. Whereas Scorpio is the intangible, so the feelings is not what we can touch, but about the emotions. Taurus out on the surface, out in the open. Scorpio hidden, deep layers buried underneath. Everyone has Scorpio energy in some part of their chart, and therefore in some area of life that will be different for every person. So have a think about where in your life you can be quite intense, you like to go deep, you maybe have a kind of an all or nothing attitude, not much in between, and you might also like to do deep research, to think really deeply and maybe in an esoteric kind of way. We have inherited a culture that vilifies some of these themes of Scorpio. It's a fear of death, a fear of sexuality. So for those of us who have inherited these kinds of attitudes from our Western European backgrounds, I hope that we can change that, and I hope that we can see the beauty and the value and the healing potential and the power potential that Scorpio brings to us. And we get more comfortable with the themes of death and sexuality and transformation, because all of that is part of life's richness. So now let's look at the other energies going on this full moon. So one thing I can say is that there is a lot of energy going on this full moon, because we've got the eclipse, we've got Mercury retrograde, and lots of other things happening. And I know I've been saying this all year, that there's lots going on, but it is really a dynamic year. So let's look at the total lunar eclipse. Eclipses bring, again, sudden events, changes in life direction, and there's a feeling of karma or fate, destiny about them. And there are the dates for the eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio this year. We always have 4 or 5 eclipses every year, and of course we don't always see them here in Aotearoa. Eclipses can bring up this whole question of fate versus free will. In astrology, you always have free will to direct your life. However, just like we know anyway, things can come along from the outside that mean you have to adjust and change your direction. And eclipses are like that. They tend to bring external events, and it might cause a big change within you and big changes to your outer circumstances sometimes. So just observe and see what comes along in the next few months, but especially around the time of the eclipse. Okay. We have Mercury retrograde at the time of the eclipse. We've been barreling forward most of the year. It's not all the time that we have all the planets going forward, and we've just had so much action driving forward with a lot of things, but now it's time to start kicking back. Pluto is retrograde now, but the one that we'll notice more in ordinary life is Mercury, because Mercury governs a lot of the things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, how we think, how we communicate, social media, small businesses, neighborly connections. All of those things are up for review over that 3 weeks. So it'll be a time where we're revising, resetting, reviewing, fixing up mistakes. So over that time, be patient. Take care with your words and plans. The planet of thinking and logic is going backwards, and that means we're going to be more fuzzy, and even if you get everything perfectly, the other people around you will be making mistakes. So check things twice. At the time of the eclipse, we have the Saturn square to Taurus being triggered, and this could bring challenges, restrictions, and a serious energy. I think that this is all part of big transformations that we're going over on a bigger, deeper, longer term level. Go with that and accept that there are birthing pains with any transformation. So what is being transformed? Thinking back to the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction over the last month, and the big dreams and mystical feelings and creativity that you were dreaming of at that time. Now's the time when you can start putting some of those into practical action. So Jupiter has just moved into Aries, and as well as that, Mars has now come up to that same point, and Mars is all about action. So you might not be able to take really active action or direct action because of Mercury retrograde, but you can do some research, some thinking, and some planning. And here we have an opportunity for some deep healing. and that is with Pluto and indeed Mars as well. I haven't marked it on there. The two rulers of Scorpio, they are sextile and trine to the eclipse. So potential for transformation, and with those aspects, this could be more harmonious. So that might be a good way to get some healing without so much pain. And the other aspect that's helping with that is Venus coming conjunct to Chiron at the time of the new full moon again. And this is an opportunity that comes every year to bring some love, some sweetness, even beauty to whatever inner wounds we have. So we are now in the last month of autumn, and this month sees the heliacal setting of Matariki at the prow of the great waka in the sky that is going down in the west. Then in June, of course, we're going to have the rising again of Matariki in the east, marking the new year according to Māori astronomy, or unless you follow Puanga. And I'm so excited that this winter we're going to have our very first Matariki holiday, the first astronomical event that is being celebrated as a holiday and a Māori event. Things to think about this full moon. Thinking about where the themes of power and transformation, wealth, death and rebirth, and sexuality and intimacy and deep emotion, where those come into your life. What has reached fruition, and what are you grateful for? What deep transformative healing have you done, and how have you benefited from that? And thinking about other fears that you might have buried perhaps even deeper. What fears could be transformed into personal power by diving deeply and exploring and uncovering those layers? And thinking about Mercury retrograde, where do you need to look back? What needs fixed? What needs tidied up? What needs reviewed? So all the best for the full moon eclipse in Scorpio. So there we go, everyone. Wishing you all the best for this full moon eclipse. Look after yourself. If there's healing, it might not come easily, but it is for our highest good. So hei kona rā ka kite.